Yeah, I thought we'd yeah, carry on with the Lucy Letby kind of research, I guess. But yeah, because obviously it's a big thing that she's innocent, but I've been looking for what actually got her sentenced, and all I found was this on Reddit, which make of that what you will. But yeah, this is, well, yeah, look, why Lucy Letby's guilt is clear, breaking down the evidence. Let's go. Stable babies, sudden deaths. Many of the babies in Lucy Letby's care were doing well, stable, improving, recovering. They weren't on the brink of death, which makes their sudden collapses all the more suspicious. These babies suddenly and inexplicably deteriorated or died without any medical reason to explain such sharp turns. Which sets the cases apart was how unexpected and unnatural these collapses were. But these weren't fragile infants who were naturally declining. These were babies whose health suddenly collapsed without warning, and only when Letby was on shift. Okay, but was she the only one on the shift? Was she working the shift by herself, or was there others there? Deliberate acts of harm. When doctors and investigators looked into these sudden collapses, they found evidence of deliberate harm. Babies were poisoned with insulin, injected with air, and overfed in dangerous ways. These are not natural complications or accidents, they are intentional acts. The medical evidence was clear. Insulin where it shouldn't be, air in the bloodstream, and overfeeding that led to serious complications. None of this happens by chance. Okay, but how would there not be evidence that it was actually her? Because in order to say then that the babies were actually poisoned, like, I suppose if she is literally the only person um, that dealt with that baby, then yeah. But yeah, 3. Lucy Letby, the consistent presence. It's, it's difficult for some to believe that a young woman like Lucy Letby could be capable of such cruelty, but in every instance of suspicious death or sudden deterioration, Letby was present. This wasn't just bad luck. If this were simply a series of tragic coincidences, you would expect other staff to be present during at least some of these incidents, but they weren't. It was also Letby. Oh, it was always Letby. Mm, we often find it hard to reconcile that someone who seems innocent could be responsible for such atrocities, but criminals don't fit into neat boxes. They can look like anyone. I don't need all this. And the pattern of harm that emerged always involved Letby. She wasn't just unlucky, she was the common factor in each case. But again, that's not proof, though. Some people argue that the case circumstantial evidence is powerful, but it's still circumstantial. Some people argue that the case was based on circumstantial evidence, implying that this made the case weaker, but circumstantial evidence is often as strong as direct evidence, especially when it points consistently in one direction. Yeah, that might be true, but that's like, I saw a policeman say that intelligence isn't evidence. Like, for example, police normally know who the criminals are in the area. That's not the problem. It's actually like you can have intelligence that someone's done something and you know 100% they did, but intelligence and evidence are not marked the same. To pass something through as evidence is marked on a much higher standard. To be able to bring some, like, evidence is something that you bring into court to prove someone is guilty. So yeah, all the circumstantial evidence in the world doesn't really mean she did it. But yeah, that's a true thing. That's what they say. Intelligence isn't evidence. Evidence is marked on a much more in this case, babies who were improving suddenly deteriorated. Medical evidence confirmed they were harmed deliberately by insulin poisoning, overfeeding, and Lucy Letby was there every time. Circumstantial evidence, when all the pieces fit together, can be overwhelming, but doesn't mean they did it. There doesn't always need to be a smoking gun when the circumstances all point to the same conclusion. In this case, the circumstantial evidence painted a clear picture of guilt. Letby's presence, the sudden collapses, and the confirmed medical harm. Yeah, but that's what I mean. That's like, but it's not that. It's the connecting Letby's presence and the confirmed medical harm. You have to be able to bridge that gap. That's like where your case is. It's like her presence is there, but like you can be present at a murder. Do you know what I mean? It doesn't mean you did it. Like, that don't look good for you. But the fact is, if you can say that you didn't do it, the scapegoat theory, was she framed? Some people believe that Lucy Letby was framed by the NHS, who needed a scapegoat to avoid blame for its own failings. But let's break that down. If this were true, it would require a massive conspiracy involving doctors, nurses, lab technicians, and forensic experts all across different institutions. Yeah, but this doesn't work because this is what they say with all conspiracies. But the fact is you don't need. It's like when they say, well, the media can't be controlled, because think of all the different papers and all the different online outlets and all the different journalists. How can they all be under the same thing? And it's like, well, they're not. In our country, like, every media company is run by two people. Like, two different people own every single thing. So you actually don't need. And it's the same. It's like, yeah, the lower end, there's a lot of people, but the higher up you go, the less and less people there are, which means the less and less people that you need to be involved in the thing, in the conspiracy. um, so yeah, you don't need doctors, but then also we know that um, humans are corruptible, and also if you're being told by, say, like, you're being told by the NHS, if you don't back us in this, you'll lose your job, whatever, or you're not going to get promoted to the next level up. That's how conspiracies work. Is that it's not so much that a complicit thing like that. It's more like, yeah, like saying the police. The police say it. The way you rise up in the ranks of the police is by not opening your mouth and blabbing about things. Um, these independent experts. Have we done that first bit? Yeah. These independent experts found. Hold on, let me just check. See more. I'm waiting for shopping. It's out for delivery. Yeah. Um, these independent experts found deliberate harm. Yeah. It would mean manipulating physical evidence, blood samples, and autopsy results. Well, no, because I don't think. No, no, that's not true. That you would have to manipulate that, because them kids could still be being poisoned. It's not that the people is questioning. It's the framing of Lucy Letby that people are questioning. So it's like the physical evidence, the blood samples, the autopsy results can all be true that kids did die like that, but it's linking her to it directly. Like, yeah, Letby wasn't targeted from the start. The investigation was triggered by the unusual deaths and the deterioration, and the evidence naturally led to her. But yeah, that doesn't always mean it is someone. This wasn't about protecting the NHS, it was about following the facts. If the NHS wanted to shift the blame, they could have easily pointed to systemic issues or other staff members. The evidence wasn't fabricated, it emerged through independent investigations. Yeah, but you've not actually given a link to, other than the fact that she was there, which there'd have to be absolutely no one else on that ward other than her, which maybe there was in some cases, but you haven't actually said that. You just said that she was present. The defence's failure to challenge the experts. Prosecution relied on medical experts to prove. Yeah, but now medical experts are actually denying it to prove that these babies had been harmed. These weren't just opinions, they were based on medical facts. Yeah, but I don't think anyone's arguing that. This is the point. No one's arguing the fact that the babies were intentionally harmed. It's her connection to it. The defence had every opportunity to bring in their own experts to challenge these findings, but they didn't. Again, you can just have a bad defence team. And if she ain't got loads of money, which she's a nurse, so I doubt she has, you're not going to get a great legal defence. No other explanation holds up. Well, it does. Like I say, misfailings. Some have suggested alternate theories like infections or hospital conditions, but these don't hold up under scrutiny. The babies who died weren't deteriorating naturally. They were stable, improving, and then suddenly collapsed in unnatural way. Yeah, again, you're repeating the same thing, but you're not actually saying where you can prove 100% that she was actually harming them, other than the fact that she was present. The evidence of insulin poisoning, air embolisms, and overfeeding rules out natural causes or institutional failures. Yeah, but again, it's the proving she did it. These deaths were caused by deliberate acts, yes, but yes. Yes, Lucy Letby was young, and some find it hard to believe that someone like her could be capable of such horrific acts. I don't like this either, when people explain other people's um, opinions. Oh, you only think it because she's a young, looks innocent, whatever. It's like, there's an arrogance in that where it's like, you dafty, you 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 speak silly. Do you know what I mean? You just confused, bless you. You haven't actually thought about it enough. Whereas I thought about it, yeah. But criminals don't always fit our stereotypes. What's undeniable is overwhelming evidence. Baby suddenly deteriorating or died while in her care. The medical evidence showed they were harmed deliberately, and Letby was always there when it happened. Some may say this case relied on circumstantial evidence, but then when that evidence consistently points in the same direction, it becomes undeniable. Well, it doesn't, though. Letby wasn't framed by the NHS. She wasn't a scapegoat. The investigation followed the facts, and the facts led back to her. This wasn't about bad luck. It was deliberate, repeated harm. That's why the jury found her guilty. Some can't believe that someone like, again, justifying why people don't agree with you. Like, some, you just can't believe it. You just can't wrap your head around it. It's beyond you. But yeah, yeah. Well, like I say, it's like they said, it's circumstantial. Hold on, my shopping's here. Yeah. So my conclusion, um, yeah, like I said, the police can know something, like, for example, the police can know 100% someone's dealing drugs. They know 100% that they are, but it's proving it. And just going there and saying we've got intelligence that this person sells drugs is not going to stand up in court. Um, but then the jury found her guilty. But I'm going to do the. I couldn't find, which is weird as well. I couldn't actually find the interview, the police interview of her. But I found someone who's, I guess, done the um reading it out, like as if like acting it out between, yeah, so reading the transcript in it. So I'm going to do that and see kind of, because Peter Hitchens said it was quite a brutal interrogation of her. So yeah, and see that. Uh, but yeah, like, so there is proof that the babies was harmed and it was unnatural. That's for sure. But what this didn't say was exactly what makes it her, other than the fact that she was there when all of them happened, which is like, yeah, like I say, it is suspicious, but it's not proof either. And I also don't like that this was, like I say, I don't like when people do that, when they try and like, yeah, you only think that she didn't do it because she's young and pneumonia mama, and you think that all criminals have an eye patch and a, do you know what I mean? It's like, yeah, no, I don't think that. But really, what I wanted was actual hard proof, and you didn't actually give it, other than the fact that she's there. That seems to be it, that she's there. But like I say, unless she is literally the only person on shift. Yeah. Yeah, well, let me know your thoughts. We will carry on looking into things. Like I say, I'm going to do the police interview as well. But yeah, that's the reaction. Sweet.